Kawthar, it means more than a lot, it means a superabundance. We all know that this chapter of Quran was revealed to Hazrat Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Surah Kawthar, as a consolation to him, as something to cheer his heart, because he had often been teased, harassed by the abtar in Arabic relates to that animal whose tail has been cut off. So in America, if you've noticed, if you've been around dogs much, or you notice things about dogs, I don't know if they do it in the rest of the world, but like a Doberman Pinscher, they'll cut his tail. And you very rarely see a Doberman Pinscher dog with his tail. They cut that tail. And you'll notice this dog has just a little stub of tail behind his back. Abtar is a word originally coined and termed to use for an animal whose tail had been cut off, and it came to mean someone who had no descendants, someone who had no one to inherit him. So after the death of his children in their infancy, the Arabs began teasing him and calling him Abtar. Abtar, meaning that he has no descendants, there's no one to inherit him. And in Arab culture, in Arab custom, which we'll touch on in a minute, it was very important to have a son. In their culture and in their custom, in their daily practice, in their lives, they believed it necessary to have a son, and they would make fun of people, as in this case calling Prophet Abtar, who had no descendants. So this chapter of Quran was revealed, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. Surely we have given you Kawthar, we have given you a superabundance. We have given you a whole lot of barakat. Now, the interpretation of this Kawthar, as we all know, is none other than Hazrat Zahra alayha salam. Salawat Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala. In essence, one of the names of Hazrat Fatima alayhi salam is Kawthar. I'm sure you know someone named Kawthar. It's one of the names of Hazrat Zahra. By Allah saying, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar, we've given you Kawthar, we've given you this superabundance, we've given you Fatima to Zahra, and we had explained this before from this same position. This Kawthar is not just that we've given you Fatima to Zahra alayha salam. It's that this Fatima that we've given you is a fulfillment of prophecy, a fulfillment of the promise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One thing we should know, and we had mentioned this before also, the difference between wa'ad and ahad. Ain, he do chishmi, and dal. And wa'ad, waw, ain, dal. There's a difference between them. In English, we translate both of them to mean promise. If you look up the word wa'ad, in Arabic, it means promise. Ahad, it means promise in English, but there's a difference between them. Wa'ad is when you say, I'm going to come visit your house, but I don't tell you. I make the intention in my mind. I make the intention in my mind. This week, Saturday, I know brother is cooking a good lunch. He's got a good lunch cooking. I'm going to show up at his house, daqiqan, at the time of the lunch, so that I can enjoy the lunch with him. But I don't tell him anything. I don't promise him. I don't tell him I'm coming on Saturday. I keep it to myself. This is wa'ad. Ahad is when I come to him and I say, I'm coming on Saturday for lunch. I'll be there exactly at the time of lunch. There's a difference between these two. It's sinful for us to make a promise to announce to someone, I'm going to do this, and then don't do it without an excuse. This is breaking that ahad. But wa'ad, if you go, if you don't go, there's no sin in it. You didn't make any intention clear. You didn't say it loudly. If you go, you don't go. Okay, it's okay. It's just nothing more than an intention. One thing we see with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whenever He makes a promise in the Quran, there is always shart and qaid and clauses, and it's not just free sabilillah. It's fi sabilillah, there's a fee involved. It's not free. You have to do something. When Allah makes a promise, there's always some shart included. Every place in the Quran you go and you look to see, I'm making a promise, Allah is making a promise in the Quran. If He promises paradise, there's a shart. It's only if you do X, Y, Z, or if you're included in this group. If He promises hell, it's only if you do X, Y, Z, or you're included in